marketing is a key part of your business, and it is something that can work for architects. So don't accept mediocre projects in a mediocre business.
Welcome to AI for Architects, the podcast exploring how artificial intelligence is transforming the AEC industry and what it means for the future of your practice and our profession. I'm Aya Shlachter, founder and CEO of MGS Global Group, a company dedicated to driving growth for architects. Each episode, we dive deep into AI's impact on architecture. You'll hear from leading architects, experts, and innovators who are shaping the future of our field with AI. Artificial intelligence is here and accelerating faster than we expect. Together, we'll build AI literacy to help you thrive in this evolving landscape. Think of AI as a way to stay ahead of the curve. Whether you're an early adopter or a fast follower, architects need to get moving. So what does this mean for the future of our profession? Join us as we explore the exciting opportunities and critical challenges presented by AI. Ready to explore? Let's dive into the episode. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the AI for Architects podcast. I'm really excited that you're on this show. I was confused whether I should invite you to AI for Architects or the Architect My Business podcast because you can be a guest in both shows. But since we're talking about your SIX+ai program, I figured this is the right channel for you. Anyway, before we get started, I want to know more about your professional cricket career and how you moved from a cricketer. Is that it? Cricketer? Cricketer.
Yeah.
To Architect Marketing Institute.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, how I moved from it. Well, it wasn't a direct move, but I played 12 years of professional cricket. And in the countries where cricket's played, it's usually the number one sport. So I think it's the second largest sport in the world. And you've got India and Pakistan and some very big populations, England, Australia. And I played professionally for 12 years. And I was very interested in the mindset side of sport, so sports psychology. And I think that's why I did well, is because I really took a lot of time and studied it and applied different things. And I found that the higher up the grades that you went, the levels that you went, the more people were interested in the psychology of sport. So I always had a big interest in psychology. And then when it came to business, I did a lot of sales jobs, a few sales jobs and things like that. But I was always interested in the psychology of marketing because marketing's all psychology too. And because I kind of had a natural bent for it, then I love marketing and got into marketing. So I think it's important if you can do marketing that you've done sales as well, because it can be quite theoretical. You need to have done 5-10 years on the cold face of selling, so you actually know, because when you're doing marketing, really it's salesmanship or salespersonship in print or just in leveraging it. So it was really the psychology as the through line that kept me in it and kept me interested.
So from being a professional cricketer, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, you got
it. So you're like a celebrity over there? It's really huge.
Well, when I was playing, I mean, say celebrity, but I was, you would recognize the players in the national team when they were there. Yeah.
That's amazing. So another question for you is, why Architect Marketing Institute? Why niching towards architecture? This is for people who don't know you. I'm sure a lot of architects know you since you've been in the business for a while, but it's just better for me to know and understand why you picked architects.
Yeah. Well, where I started when I was doing marketing is we would run workshops in around New Zealand, and we would get anyone who was selling high ticket items. So I would, and they would come into a 6-month group where they'd work with me once a month for 6 months, and we'd all meet as a group. And I'd have real estate agents and lawyers and accountants and private investigators, people doing house relocations. So anyone, and one of the first things I would teach them is your life's going to be so much easier if you niche and get specialist a bit. And I was certainly conscious of the fact that I wasn't doing that. I was telling them, I could say I was doing big ticket items, so I could get away with it, but I did think every time I get a new client and I've kind of got to learn a whole new industry, and it would be a bit like an architect every time they do a new project. If it's something different to what they've done before, there is a lot of learning to do, even though a lot of the principles are the same. There's still a lot of learning. And I had one lady come to one of my workshops, and she rang me up afterwards and said, "Oh, hi, my name's Mona." And she said, I'm ringing you up because you said to call you. And I said, "Oh, well, what do you mean I said to call you?" She said, "Oh, well, your emails." So I had some follow-up emails that must have said, "Give me a call and talk about coaching." So anyway, she called up and she said, "But your marketing, I really enjoyed the session, but your marketing wouldn't work for me. I'm an architect, and besides, I can't afford to work with you anyway." And I said, "Oh, okay." I thought, well, I don't know. I mean, I assume it would work for architects, but what do I know? I've never worked with one before. So anyway, we spoke for an hour, and at the end of the call, she said, "All right, well, what's the next steps?" And I said, "Oh, about what?" She said, "Well, working with you." I said, "Oh, I thought you weren't going to work with me because it wouldn't work for you and you didn't have any money." And she said, "Oh, well," she said, I don't think I can afford not to." I said, "Oh man, that's a change." Because I wasn't even trying to sell her, because, I was thinking as I was going through the call, this is a waste of time. I mean, this is going to go nowhere. She's already told me. And then at the end, she kind of just said, "All right, how do we start?" So anyway, she was a great first architect to have, because she was such an action taker. So if you told her what to do, and to be honest, I wasn't sure that, what I was doing. I'd never worked with an architect or anything like that. So I wasn't sure that my marketing was going to work for her. And there wasn't anything else. I looked online. There wasn't really anything for architects specifically that I could go and copy. So we went through, and she was just a good implementer. She did like stunningly well. She, within about 2 years, she tripled her income, and she had a staff of 5. Yeah, it was amazing, So she was just a great implementer. She would do things, she'd turn up to the meeting, she'd write her notes on what she was going to do, and then she'd come back and they were all done. Perfect client. And she did really well. And then she got interviewed by a guy who was running a big podcast that had a big audience. He interviewed her because, she joined his list, and he always sent out an email saying, "How's it going?" And she responded back going, "Oh, I've just tried some new marketing. It's going on really well. I've got this really expensive marketing coach, but it's working." And he was like, "Oh, what? Marketing's working? I've never heard of such a thing." So he got hold of me and said, "Can I do a podcast with you?" And one thing led to another, and I ended up forming a group of about 10 architects. They all paid about $10,000, and we did a 6-month program. And that went really well. And then from there, we kind of just kept going. And now we've had about 1,200 architects through various iterations of the program. And it's been good. And it's all I do now. All I do is architects. Occasionally, landscape architect will come in, or an interior designer, but it's primarily architects or sort of designers. And that was 15 years ago. So, and I enjoy it. I enjoy architects because I think I did have a stint where for a few years I did accountants as well, but different mindset. And it was a similar sort of a program. It was equally as effective, but I did not resonate with the accountants at all. Well, not the same way. Whereas architects, I like them. I like their creativity. I like their problem solving. I like, you give them a theory and that they will adapt it and they'll make it work. Whereas the accountants need it. They just need cut and paste. You have to give me the whole thing ready to go so I can just cut and paste it. If I have to think about anything and do some thinking myself, it won't happen.
Yeah, because architects are creative problem solvers.
Yeah.
Right? So your work helps small and medium-sized architecture firms win better projects and build businesses that support a great life. I did some research. So what do you think is the most common marketing challenge architects face today, and how does your core approach help with that?
Right. Okay, good question. I think there's the problem that the architects would say is their number one problem. Then there's the real problem. So I'll give you both. So I think most architects would say I've got two problems. One is we don't get enough leads and inquiries. If I just had more leads coming through, I'd be fine. And then the other one is too many clients questioning my fees. They'll go, there's no other, and it's true, probably. There's no other industry in the world where people question your fees more than if you're an architect. Why is that? Right. So those are the two. And I think those are both symptoms. I don't think they're the root cause. And it's really hard to fix something if you're trying to fix the symptom. So what I've discovered, just through talking to thousands of architects, is the root cause is that not that they don't get enough leads, it's they don't get enough of the right leads. So their messaging is way too broad, and they're almost like, if they're doing their marketing, any advertising or any messaging, it's like, I'm an architect, I've been in business for 15 years, and we can do anything. No job, they don't say no job is too big or too small, but it's that kind of thing. And what ends up happening is because they think that being a generalist and being able to do a bit of everything is a strength, and it is a strength because they have a wide range of skills. But from a marketing point of view, all it does is water down your message. And so what they need to do is step one, they need to get very clear about what type of projects and clients they should be targeting, because not all projects and clients are equal, right? So that's step one. And it doesn't mean that they're the only projects and clients you work with. I mean, you can still work with anyone that comes through, and if you need work, you do it. But what it is when you're building a marketing system, that marketing system is dedicated to catching that type of client and project, right? It's like catching fish. If I want to catch, we've got blue cod here in New Zealand, which is probably my favorite fish. But to catch blue cod, you have to have the right bait, the right hook, and you have to be in the right location, because it's, they're in little patches. They're not everywhere. So you have to go to certain locations, and even within those locations, you have to know where, there's fishing spots even out at sea that they'll hang around here, but they won't be everywhere else. So once you know that you want blue cod, you give yourself a chance of being able to put yourself in that position. And if you pick the right type of project and client, like if you're picking blue cod clients, then you need less of them, right? So they're easier to find if you're dedicated to finding that type of fish. And if you can catch them, once you start catching them, you can start saying no to all the other fish that aren't very good. Because if you just, let the projects come through the door, that anything that comes up just through referrals and word of mouth, you're going to get a real mixed bag of projects, right? Some really good, lots mediocre, some really bad. And that makes for a mediocre business, right? So if I just identified what are my best projects and clients, and I had a marketing system designed to just go and catch those ones, it doesn't mean I can't do the other ones while I'm trying to build up. But if I've got that specific good client catching system, then once it's working, I can start to say no to the bad ones. And I want to get myself in a position where I've got more good ones coming through than I can handle. And then I can do things like raise my fees without fear. I can work on less projects because these ones are probably bigger and they're prepared to pay more. I might be able to start a waiting list because I've got a bit of a reputation now. That's the other thing. I'll get more referrals because I've built a name for myself as doing that type of work. And I can probably work on less projects. So instead of doing, if I'm a one-man band, for example, instead of doing 15 projects a year, I might be able to just do 5 or 6.
That's amazing. That was a lot. I mean, thank you so much, because, I heard from, because I do podcasting. One of the guys who is a business B2B podcaster said, riches are in the niches.
There
right?
are riches and niches, yeah.
Yes. So now that we have AI, and I know that marketing is really one of the industries that can be helped by AI tremendously, right? I'm in Cleveland now, and the Marketing AI conference is here, I think in August or October. I mean, one of the things that any industry can start to implement is marketing in any profession, because ChatGPT alone is super powerful in terms of, helping architects with strategy, marketing, content creation, creating blogs and all the things. But I want to know more about your AI tools and your SIX+ AI framework. I checked out your webinar and you talked about architects versus architects plus AI, who wins. So, what led you to focus on this specific challenge? And why do you believe using AI is so important right now?
Well, what you need to be successful, I think, at winning really good projects is you need a good system. Then you need a good system, and then you need to fill in, make sure you're filling out the components for the system. So some of the key components primarily is you're going to use words, and you're going to need to say things and come up with messages and come up with offers and follow up emails and all that type of stuff. And all that stuff is words. So the system, great. You need a system, plus you need the messaging. So, all right, we've got a system, and we've been running it for 15 years, and just refining it. So that's fine. That works well. But not the difficulty, but the heavy lifting, the 9 steps, that's easy enough. But then you got to do the writing. And for an architect to sit down and have to write the emails, write the messages, write the offers, write the reports, write the this, write the that, like it's heavy lifting, and it takes a long time. And some of them aren't very good at it. They're not great writers. They're designers, and it just takes so long. And it used to take me so long as well. I'd write a newsletter once a month, and it would take me, it would take me the whole week to write this long. It's usually about 12 pages long, and obviously, as you know, and everyone who's used ChatGPT and tools like that, you can get so much done so fast, and it's better quality and it's fast, right? And so that the big obstacle of the writing is now no longer an obstacle. If you've got a good system, if you know how to use some of the AI tools, then you've still got to have the right strategy. But it's just so fast. So if you want, I've got a demo I can show you here. If you want to do that.
Sure. So before we start, this is part of your SIX+ai overview where you have 15 AI agents, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So can you explain what an AI agent is before we move to the demo? Because I saw this demo and it was very mind-blowing. So can you explain what an agent is high level, and then let's go dive
Sure.
into this demo?
Yeah, sure. So an agent is effectively, like we have applications on our phone that we might download to our phone, and we download an application. It's like an application, but it's an AI application. So the difference between an application and an AI agent is the AI agent has a lot more brains, and it can think on its feet and well, basically think on its feet and maneuver depending on the feedback you give it. Whereas an application is very one dimension. It'll do what it's been programmed to do. So you can think of an agent as, it's kind of like a really intelligent application. That's what an agent is. And you're going to find more and more of these agents. It's just, an agent is a dedicated AI thing that does a specific task, but uses its own brain while it's doing it. Right. And so anyway, we've created 15 agents to help our members do some of the marketing exercises much quicker. So one of the really important exercises is, because, I said step 1 is sort of set some, in my system anyway, is set some goals. Step 2 is pick a niche. Step 3 is it's not enough just to pick a niche or a type of project you want to win. You're going to have to make sure that you can communicate your value so that people want to connect with you. And so this agent, I call it the $1 million message maker. But
it's Maverick, right?
This is Maverick, yeah. So we've given each of the agents to try and make them, a bit more fun and personify them a bit. We've given them each of them a face, and they're all very attractive.
He is very good looking.
He is good looking, yeah. And
He's
some of
very
the
Hollywood.
he is, yeah. And the ladies are very good looking too. So there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And we give them a name. So this guy's Maverick, and he's gonna help us come up with $1 million message. Okay. And the good thing is, because we know the questions to ask, we can coach Mav and train Maverick up and say, hey, these are the type of questions you should ask Maverick when you're trying to find the value of something. So he knows all that. He's been trained in my stuff. So we would start a conversation, and I've just done a little bit of plugging in here, but so I'm going to take, if someone's a member of us, the AI system already knows about them. It's done a search on their website, and it's done an interview, and it's it knows Dulcie. So in this case, we're going to do Dulcie Horwitz, and she's in the program. So okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and communicate the value of something, and instead of saying, "Hey, it's really good," we've been in business for 15 years, and here's my portfolio, which is probably what everyone says, not very compelling. I want to come up with something which is more valuable and useful. So what we're going to do is there is a number of different options there of things we could come up with a value statement for. But what we're going to do is most white people will be familiar with some sort of Ask the Expert call. So that would just be a free initial consultation. So I'm going to choose that one for the subject of this exercise.
So before we start, for the people who are now on video, there are 5 questions that you can pick, right? And the question that we picked is Ask the Expert call, right?
Yes. But it could do anything else, because there is a type you can type in, and you say, no, I don't want that. I don't want this. Because Maverick's given us 5 options, but we could say, no, I don't want any of those. I want something else. And he's fine with that.
Yeah.
Right. So step 1 was, which area do you want to focus on? And we've gone, right, free initial appointment. Okay. Because that's what we need. We need appointments, right? So, okay. Now, step 2, he's asking, what's your ideal niche or ideal clients? Now, because he knows Dulcie, because he's done a bit of an exercise on basically, scrolling her website and things like that, he already knows her ideal type of client. So for Dulcie, she said, look, my ideal type of project is homeowners who want to spend, let's say, more than $1 million on the construction. But to be even more specific, I want people who want a creative home. So an arty creative home. And I want to deal with creative people. So she's gone, here's my niche, high-end luxury residential, but then she's picked a little niche within the niche, which is a good idea. So creative people. So she's gone homeowners and couples seeking unique, artistic, and personalized architectural designs. That's what she wants. There's a guy, John Lautner, who was quite famous. I think he's dead now, but he did these homes where they're all built in California, around trees, and rocks are in the home, that great big rocks. And then there's slides. She likes that type of stuff. Right. Okay. So we've picked, artistic couples. All right. Now, Maverick is saying, all right, what's the specific problem? If you're going to run an appointment, rather than just say, hey, I've got a free appointment for you, can we hone in on a specific problem? Right? Because people are more motivated to solve problems they already have. So Dulcie, when we did this exercise, she said, the problem that I have is where I've got 2 couples, a couple, and they've both got a slightly different perspective on what they want, and they haven't really come to alignment. So if I was going to pick a problem, that would be the biggest problem that I see that we could offer solving. Okay, so we're trying to come to this meeting, or we're trying to offer a meeting that is stacked with, we're going to solve this if you're this type of person with this type of problem, we're going to solve it with this solution, and the solution will be a meeting. So we can come up with a whole number of different meetings, but all the meetings are going to be problem-centric for a specific type of person. So in this case, difficulty in negotiating different design preferences between partners. We're going to pick that one as the problem that we're going to create a meeting around.
So when you say partners, meaning the husband and wife team,
Yeah.
they have, and that's super common in residential work. Because when I was practicing, in the traditional practice, I was in the middle of the husband and wife, and I didn't want to be.
Right.
So that's a great question. That what's the client's name again? You're the architect.
Dulcie.
Dulcie. Dulcie is that's a great question for
Right.
Dulcie. Yeah.
Right. And one of them probably doesn't care that the project's not moving ahead, and maybe one of them doesn't. So let's say the husband's the accountant often, and the wife is the creative artistic one, and she wants to do it. And so when she sees, let's just imagine a situation, she's been frustrated by a husband who's, you know, dragging his heels to some degree, and he wants something slightly different, and she wants this artistic creative space. And then she sees an offer, and we haven't seen it yet, but she's going to see an offer for, hey, if you and your partner are struggling to align on the design or struggling to come together, then we've got a specific session for you. And she goes, oh my God, that's exactly what we need. We need therapy to bring us together, design therapy. And she goes, we've got to book the session. David, it's 3:00 on Thursday and you've got to be there. It's specifically for people who can't come to an agreement. This is perfect for us, right? So question 4, we're still answering the questions. We haven't got to that point yet. But anyway, the transformation. How does the Ask the Expert call transform the client's situation from before to after? Okay, so what outcome are we promising? And we've got a few options here that Maverick's given us. Does it provide clarity and consensus on design preferences? Yep. Empowers clients to a clear action plan that represents both partners' preferences? Yeah, it does that too. And facilitates open communication and understanding between partners, resulting in a balanced design approach? Yes. So I'm going to pick 2 of those. I'm going to go, yeah, it brings consensus, and also they end up walking away with a clear action plan. So I'll pick 2 of those. If I had another idea or something else, I could just type that in. That would be fine.
So Dulce just picked 2 of the questions that our AI agent Maverick suggested, right? For the solutions. So she picked 2.
That's it. And these questions are custom. When I said the AI agent is intelligent, like these aren't the same questions that if I was doing it for you, Aya, it would come up with different questions based on its reading of your website, your LinkedIn profile, and an interview you'd done. So it would know that you're a bit different and would come up with different options. But these are options which is kind of very good for Dulcie because Maverick knows Dulcie. Right. The final question, question 5, is the X factor difference. So if we're trying to communicate value, these are the things we want. So what makes your approach unique compared to others? Do you have a special method, expertise, or philosophy that sets you apart? Now, Dulcie and I created a thing called the 6 thinking hats method. Well, actually, she created it. I came up with it. I said, for creative people, there's this guy called Edward de Bono, and he wrote a book, 6 Thinking Hats. And it's a really creative thinking process. Why don't you get that book, read it, and then adapt it for your clients, as a process? Because what the 6 Thinking Hats does is you go through thinking from a logical perspective, a creative perspective, a negative perspective, a logistical perspective. You have to put on all these different hats and look at it. And sometimes the reason that husbands and wives or partners can't come to agreement is one of them's always wearing the black hat of what could go wrong, and one of them's always wearing the creative hat of we could do this and we could do that and we could do that. And neither of them are wearing each other's hats. And so what the process does is says, rather than stick with one hat, all of us are going to look at this situation from all 6 different hats. And so, Mr. Negative, we're not at the black hat yet. We'll come to that soon. At the moment, we're doing the white hat or the green hat. And so they have to play along and think, what it does is give them way more range of thinking when they're forced to think. And the woman who's the creative one has to put the black hat on when we're doing the black hat. So it gives them a chance to see everything from each other's perspectives, feel heard, and look at the situation. Anyway, so she developed something like that so that she could run that if she was going to pull people together. And it's a fun exercise, particularly for creative people and her. And she runs the 6 thinking hats thing. And at the end, she comes up with here's a little thing of alignment. Anyway, we could have gone through all this in about 3 minutes flat, but I've done a bit of a long-winded commentary along the way. So anyway, so what Maverick's going to do now, it's going to take that information and he is going to craft some paragraphs, sentences that explain very short, in a succinct way, what it is that this Ask the Expert meeting offers. Okay? So he's come up with 3 options for us, and I'll just read out the first one. The other 2 are probably similar, but they're just worded slightly different. But the first one says, are you struggling to find common ground in your design preferences? Our Ask the Expert call is here to help. We use the 6 thinking hats method to mediate differing perspectives, providing clarity and consensus on design preferences. This leads to a harmonious design plan that respects both partners' visions. Experience a personalized approach that reflects your individuality and transforms your space into a unique artistic expression. All right. So this is the bit that AI is really good at, is if you feed it good prompts, it's good at putting it together and writing something that goes, well, that sounds quite good. That's what I was talking about. Right, but you got to give it, it's like baking a cake. You've got to give it the right ingredients. And that's what we did by answering those questions.
Yeah. And also, I like this answer because let's say I'm a solopreneur architect and I don't have a mastermind and I wouldn't know what to do, right? Right. If I'm a new architect and I got my first client and I'm not part of AMI or other groups, having this tool can really help me as a new architect navigate this husband and wife, team, right? So this is great. I like it. Yeah. So what are we supposed to do after?
Okay. So now we've got, good point. Well, is that it? No.
Yeah.
That is just the core message. It's not necessarily, you could cut and paste this and put it on your website, but that's not enough. We need more than that. So we'll take that one. There were 3 options, but we'll just say that one's the best. Now, what we can do now is, all right, well, how would we want to use that message? Where would we want to promote the fact that we've got this meeting and it specifically solves the problem of people not being aligned? All right, so I can take this, and now I've got some options for those that can see it. It says, do you want to make it shorter? Do you want to make the language simpler and easier to read? Do you want to make it more engaging or less salesy? Or do you want to make it longer and more detailed? Do you want to brainstorm how to improve it for your target audience? Create a narrative story. So let's play around with some of these. Let's turn it into a story. Because let's say we're writing an article and we're writing a newsletter and we want to give an example of a couple that this might apply to. So we're gonna take that idea, that core idea, and we're gonna turn it into a bit of a story.
So Maverick is asking us if we want 1 paragraph, 2, 3, or custom length to your choosing. What did we pick?
Right, I picked 3.
Oh, okay, 3 paragraphs.
Now what it's done is it's taken that, now it knows what we're doing and it's come up with the value. It can spin it into different formats. So, here's now we've got a story. So finding harmony in design. It says, in the heart of 1,000 oaks, a couple stood at a crossroads. Emma, an artist with a flair for eclectic, and David, an engineer with a love of clean lines and functionality, found themselves in a design dilemma. Their dream home was within reach, yet their differing tastes seemed to create an insurmountable barrier. Frustration grew as they struggled to find common ground. Each design meeting ended in stalemate. It was then that they discovered Horwitz A&D and their unique Ask the Expert call. Emma and David were intrigued by the promise of clarity and consensus through the 6 thinking hats method. During the session, Dulcie guided them through a series of thought-provoking exercises, engaging them to explore their preferences from different perspectives. The process was enlightening, revealing not only their individual desires, but also the shared vision that they hadn't realized they had. With newfound understanding, they began to see how their contrasting styles could complement rather than conflict. As the call concluded, Emma and David felt a sense of relief and excitement. They now had a harmonious design plan that respected both their visions, crafted with the expertise and creativity of Horwitz A&D. Their home would be a unique blend of artistic expression and functional elegance, a true reflection of their personalities. The journey had transformed their design challenge into an opportunity for collaboration and creativity, leaving them eager to bring their dream home to life.
This is so great. I have a question. So this one almost looks like a case study, right? Like, I mean, a lot of clients or like a testimonial or a reference, right?
Yes.
So where can we use this one? Like, where can your client Horowitz AD, where can she potentially use this blurb from Maverick, our agent?
Yeah, right. Well, this little story. She might even say that this is not a real story. This is just a typical thing that happens. So, she's worried about saying it's literal. Or she could just use Emma and David. But it's probably pretty representative of her clients. So she could use it in a social media post. She could use it in a newsletter that she sends out with a call to action saying, hey, if you'd like to book one of these sessions, now that you understand what it's all about, because the story, in some ways, telling a story tells the value of something better than when you literally say, here's the 5 things you're going to get. So in a newsletter, in a social media post, could go in an email to your list if you've got a list. Could be a story that you tell when you're out networking, here's the type of thing that we do, and someone goes, yeah, that would be really good. And they tell a story. Of course, she could take this and she could take a real couple and slot them in, now that she's got the framework for the story, right?
That's great. So is Maverick also, he's the $1 million message, right? He helps create the $1 million message. So do you have other AI agents that you think your architects can benefit from?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
right.
sure all of them, but you've
Yeah.
built 15, right?
That's right.
So Maverick is the one that helps you with the $1 million message maker.
Correct.
What other, 2 to 3 AI agents you suggest architects should check out?
Yeah. Well, firm profile maker. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people want to have a firm profile. What should I say? How should I say it? So once again, someone else, one of the other agents will ask you a series of questions and then go, right, here's a profile for your firm. Picking a niche. One of the agents will ask you a series of questions and help you work through what would be a really good niche for you to focus on. Case study generator. So we kind of, this was similar to a case study, wasn't it? But this one is one that you could send to your client and say, hey, can you answer these questions? You're going to have an AI agent chat to you and put in your responses, and then the agent will create the case study for the client. Website doctor. The website doctor, Dr. Webb. He will, I think it's a he. He will look at your website and he'll give you feedback on how it's performing for SEO and what you can do to improve the effectiveness of your website. He'll do a diagnosis. There's one that creates social media posts and things like that. There's an interesting one. This is probably the most fun one, I think. There's sales coaching. So this one here is, I won't open it up. Probably don't have enough time, but this one here is you'll talk to this sales coach and you'll either do a mock call with him where he pretends to call in and call you, and then you will talk to him like you're talking.
Can we do a 3-minute demo? First of all, to my audience, you got to check out the website, because like all these agents, I just want them in my company, right? Case study creator, article maker. Come on. The website doctor.
That's right.
So can we do a little bit of a demo on the sales coaching, maybe like 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay. So what we've got here is okay, I'll just do it. So you start a call, see how we go.
And what's his name or her name?
This one's Robert.
Oh, we can't hear him, Richard.
Okay. Maybe I would need to change the settings to allow it to hear.
But anyway, if we can't do it right now, my question for you is, because I saw this demo already on the webinar. I saw it live in action, like he's really helping you with all the things, right? Like about sales. Can you give an example of, what your sales coach would ask?
Yeah, sure. So basically, he calls up. I answer the phone, and he says, "Hey, here's what I'm looking to do," and I ask him a series of questions, and the goal is to get him into a meeting. And he has a couple of objections and things that I have to navigate and question. He'll ask me a couple of questions. I'll ask him some questions, and then hopefully I've managed to book a call with him at a certain time, and that then concludes the call. But then what we do is we go to the sales coach and go, right, sales coach, what did you think of how I handled that? And he, that's another thing that AI is great at, is he'll then go in and create a report and says, right, Richard, I'm going to give you a mark out of 10 for these 6 different areas, right? And he'll say, right, rapport, 5 out of 10. Here's what you did well. Here's what you could have said and done a little bit better. And then he'll go, right, understanding the client's needs. I'll give you a 6 out of 10 for that. Here's what you did well, but you could have asked this question. You could have done this. You could have dug a little deeper. And he'll go through all that and basically do a critique and a review of my sales call. And then that's really good. And then I go, okay, so I didn't handle the objection very well. He had some questions around pricing and around something like that. And then I can go, okay, can you give me more feedback go deeper on what should I have said to handle that objection better? And just at a click of a button, the sales coach will then produce what I should have said in detail and why. And so it's like, I don't know, you can learn so fast. And like with AI, as you know, they're not just good. The sales coach is really, really good. And the writers aren't just okay, they're really good writers. So the feedback that you can get, and the other thing you can do is also upload a live call that you might have had with a client, upload that into the system, and it will review a live call that you've had and give you the same sort of feedback.
That's really great. I'm blown away by the agents that you've created. You thought about everything for marketing. And my question for you too is like, how do architects access all of these agents? I mean, what is the process in getting their agents, proprietary agents for their company? Do they have to do all 15? Can they pick and choose?
Well, unfortunately, no, they'd have to join our program.
Can I read all the agents?
Yeah, sure.
So you have, the first is setting you up. So you have firm profile maker and editor, writing style extractor agent, conversation manager. That's an agent, right? And then another one is niche navigator,
yes.
Avatar analyzer.
Yes.
And then the third is value. You have 2 agents for value.
Yes.
$1 million message maker and fab statement maker. What is a fab statement maker?
Yeah, it's a different process. So it communicates the value, but it's using the fab formula. So feature, advantage, benefit. It's just a different style of talking. Whereas
and then you have monkey first maker.
Yes.
Monkey fist maker.
Yes.
What is that?
Monkey's fist is like a lead magnet. It's the term we use.
Is that a New Zealand term or a marketing term that I don't know?
It's a marketing term. There's a guy, Gary Benchavinga, came up with a great article years ago about a monkey's fist. And so it's a lead magnet.
So other agents, article maker, case study creator, image generator, ask the expert, who was Maverick, right? Or no, that was the sales.
Ask the expert maker. Well, this is more to do the landing pages, to write the copy for the landing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then this is also different from the website doctor. This is great. You have outreach assistant, newsletter maker, website doctor, social media assistant, Ask Rich, AI guide. Who's Ask Rich? Is he a...
Right. So these ones down the bottom are more like a concierge. So Ask
Yeah.
Rich is around what he does is he knows our program inside out. So if you've got if you're on the program and you've got a question around what is a monkey's fist and how does it work, then he will answer those questions for you. He'll be ready 24/7 to answer them.
Okay,
Whereas,
and so you have sales coaching, right?
yeah,
He sales coaching is voiceover, right? We can talk to the AI.
we can do drills. We can do sales drills with the AI and get feedback. Yep.
So this program is really for architects who are interested in this program. We sign up and then we get the whole thing and we train this model to understand our company's needs and ins and outs of our companies, our client profile, our services, and then really can hone it in.
Yes, what you're going to build is effectively a fishing rod to catch a specific type of fish. So you're going to build a marketing system using these agents to help you, a marketing system and with our help. And you're going to look to build a marketing system to catch a specific type of high value project that you would like to be winning.
So for people who have no experience with AI, this could be a little overwhelming. Like, how do you break it down for, your potential clients in terms of, what is the process of onboarding them so that they can ease into
Yeah.
AI?
Well, ironically, with AI, it actually makes it easier because, as you can see, to do each exercise, all you have to do is turn up and press a button and go, "Let's start." And then the AI agent, Maverick or Maverick's friends, will just ask you a series of questions. So all you really have to do is answer the questions, and then Maverick will create the outcome for you that you need, or the output. So, if you're intimidated by technology or anything like that, this is really good because, well, this makes it easier. This makes it a lot easier. You just answer questions and it produces it for you. We set up the landing pages and the appointment booking systems and the calendars and the CRM system and all that type of thing. But we just need you to give us the output from the AI agents. It's easier than doing a market. Like I've been doing this for 15 years, and yeah, we tried to make it marketing as easy as possible, but writing the stuff and working out what to say was always the tricky part. I mean, AI is it's unreal, and we don't know how it's going to affect us all. It may take over architecture and, eventually, and it'll probably take over marketing. There won't be any need for me ultimately, but in the meantime, we get to have this fun where we get to use these tools. We're still needed. That's the good thing. We're still needed for at least the next 5 years, maybe 10. So we get to have fun with this stuff. And, if you ever got stuck on sales and marketing because, oh my goodness, I don't like it or I don't understand it or anything like that, that's no longer an excuse anymore because, the AI will almost do a lot of it for you.
And also what I like about your program is you're not just doing AI, you're actually helping architects with their entire engine and marketing system because AI is just a tool to help them with the entire engine. And I really like what you said in your webinar when you said relying solely on referrals is like a sailboat with no wind. A marketing system is the engine that gives you control. This is so powerful because, again, AI could be part of the marketing engine and there are no excuses, right? A lot of times firm owners, I'm guilty of this too. I get overwhelmed with my work that I don't have time to market. But again, relying on referrals is like a sailboat with no wind. That's so awesome, Richard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
it's all right if the wind's blowing, and sometimes it does blow. Well, that's okay. But
Yeah,
what do you do when it doesn't blow? You know,
that's true.
that's so having an engine is pretty handy if you
So
like.
so this AI part is just really part of your entire engine. And if you guys want to check out the engine, it's Architect Marketing Institute, right? arcmarketing.org.
Archmarketing.org is our
Arch, yeah,
website. Yeah, and there's a lot of free resources on that website, like a lot. There's
yeah.
blogs that explain how to do things and what to do. We've got webinars that you can go and watch. I'm about to start a weekly sort of live marketing session that I'm going to be running. So yeah, there's lots of tools and resources, probably more than anywhere else for architects. And There's a lot of free stuff that you can get.
So what are you promoting now, or any exciting new projects? Where can we find you? How do we connect?
Probably through the website, but if people want to reach me directly, they can send me an email, richard@archmarketing.org, ARCH, so archmarketing.org, richard@archmarketing.org. They can send me an email if they want there, or through the website.
What about the SIX+ai overview? Where can we find that? Is that on the website as well?
Yeah. Before people come into a program like that, they'll do a game plan call with us. So I can give you a link for that, and I should be more organized. But they do a game plan call. We'd work out where they are now, where they want to be. We'd come up with a roadmap for them, and then we'd say, if you want to see how we would help you bridge that roadmap, then we can take them through the SIX program in detail, and they can have a look at that.
Yeah. Once you give me the link, I'll put it in our show notes for the SIX+ai program, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any parting thoughts to architects in the age of AI? General thoughts?
Yeah, just in general, I think you're only as good as the projects you can win. So my advice is, don't be content with just mediocre projects. If all you're doing is relying primarily on word of mouth and referrals to run a business, and you're a bit frustrated with a mixed bag of projects, just know that there are tools out there, and we have a lot of free tools on our website. Go and realize that there are systems and tools that do work for architects, and just go and learn to be better at sales and better at marketing, because if you're better at sales and better at marketing, then you put yourself in a position to win better projects. And if you can win better projects, you can work, it changes your business. Your business is only as good as the projects you can win. And I think, the life that you live as an architect, a lot of architects work way too hard for not enough money. And the solution is learn how to win better projects, because then you'll earn more money and you'll probably work less. So you may have thought, I don't like sales and marketing, or I see it beneath myself, but I can assure you all the big successful companies, the Fosters and all these big companies, because some of them have been clients of ours, or not Fosters, but people who worked at Fosters, they say we are doing marketing all the time. We may have looked like we weren't doing anything. We were a duck floating on the water. But when you're running a big firm, those legs are paddling hard underneath. So, marketing is a key part of your business, and it is something that can work for architects. So don't accept mediocre projects in a mediocre business. Help us out there.
Thank you so much, Richard. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us in another episode of AI for Architects. I hope today's episode sparked your curiosity about AI's impact and opportunities in architecture. Subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss our upcoming episodes, and sign up for our newsletter for exclusive content and AI tool reviews at aiforarchitects.ai/subscribe. This podcast is brought to you by MGS Global Group, driving growth for architects everywhere.